All right, folks, thank you for joining me here today. Let's get something started here. Saturday Night Live. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. Let me share this one out real quick, and then we're going to get it rocking and rolling. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you for stopping by. A lot to cover in a Saturday Night Live. Always a pleasure. Current events, cryptocurrency, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. I am your host, Zach Rector, and it's an absolute pleasure. Let's get it going. All right, folks. Okay, so we're looking at a Saturday, last day of September. On the West Coast here, we're tuning in at 7:45 p.m. on the West Coast, so it's a late night session. Appreciate you for stopping by. Appreciate the time. I'm going to go through an update that covers current events, cryptocurrency, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. We have a successful proper party. We're going to be talking about that, but we did not get a settlement or a shutdown, so you know, you can slap a pie on my face, egg on my face, whatever the joke is. You can make fun of me because we did not get the settlement in September and we did not get the government shutdown. Darn it. And I think I'm going to have to go give Daniel my 100 XRP. And we did lose that bet. Excuse me. Now, that's fine. You know, it's an absolute pleasure to watch this whole show, to sit back and be able to have some fun, and to have the courage to actually put a prediction out there. Now, I'm willing to admit when we get it wrong, and we've been wrong on the timeline plenty of times. But what we invest in is the inevitable events, and that's what matters. When we focus on what's inevitable or a very high probability of happening, and then if we can get the window of opportunity there, the timeline relatively close, we can nail it right and make tons of money, take advantage of this opportunity, and create generational wealth. Not just post memes about it, not just dream about it, but actually execute on it right now. And that's what we're up to. And so I thought, I had a funny feeling. We have a party, a little proper party, and we got a couple hints. We got a couple of this. We got a riddle. We got a full moon, and no major announcement. That's fine. No settlement. That's fine. And unfortunately, the big thing that I'm upset about is that our government did not shut down. We are going to allow the bureaucracy beast to continue staying open, and the DC swamp lives on another day, another 45 days in particular. We're going to get right on into it. And we'll take a look here at the cryptocurrency prices, and then we'll get started on the government shutdown being averted. So egg on my face. We get no settlement, no shutdown. Oh, darn. Oh, shoot. But the show goes on, and you know how this story is going to end. Let's get right on into it, folks. So we're looking at this thing right here, and that's your Bitcoin at 27,000, Ethereum at 1672, and XRP at 51 cents. By the way, we are sipping on some wine tonight, if you were curious. It is a wine night, so you know what that means. You know what the vibes are. And looking at the chart here, monthly candle just closed. Here's your Bitcoin, 27,000. And we zoom out, and I want to highlight this moment in time. Once again, folks forget about this 342% bull trap rally in the middle of 2019, right before we get sacrificed in March 2020, back down to 3K. After that bull trap rally took us to 13, nearly 14,000. 342% bull trap rally. What are we in the middle of right now? It's about a 100% bull trap rally from 15.5 to 31.8. Let's round up, give Bitcoin the benefit of the doubt. 31.8, that's a 100% give or take bull trap rally. Okay? Now, as we predicted, Fed decision came in. We were wrong about them raising interest rates another 25 basis points. They didn't. They gave us a pause, soft pivot. But what did the markets do? Still dumped. And this is something that we were watching to happen. Leading up into the proper party, we get a pump for XRP as suspected. You know, they were going to get a little something, a little pump and dump, a little action. And we had about double the amount of daily volume that we had been having for XRP as of late. And that was over 1.6 billion. Excuse me. Over 1.6 billion to I don't know what the total number was, how we finished off the day, but about double what we've been doing on a daily volume basis. The excitement for the proper party was definitely there. XRP pumped up to, 55 cents essentially before rolling back over, and now XRP's back at 51 cents. But we just closed the monthly candle here on Bitcoin. Like I said, right at about 27,000. We've been watching it trend sideways through most of this year. We did get that bounce off of 15.5, basically 15.8 once again back in January before we took off. And then we really took off in March during the banking crisis, and that brought us back up to the 30K level. And once again, in July of this year, that's when we did up to 31,000, nearly 31,800. Okay. So I've been shorting the heck out of Bitcoin. Essentially, I've only missed one time since we topped out at 69K back in 2021, and we warned about entering the bear market, right? In October, November, we said, guys, December 2021 is going to mark the beginning of the bear market. Sure enough, December 4th, liquidation day, takes us down 40%, and we begin the bear market, and we start going down all through 2022, and we rally back up here, doing a 100% bull trap rally, just like we did in the middle of this bear market right here. And this was bad. This time might be worse, depending on how you've played it, depending on where you're at. The overall economic situation, very, very similar, right? We had a tough go at it in 19, actually. And the Fed started to raise interest rates there in 2018, 2019. And so sure enough, we come back down. Then March of 2020 happened, and we opened up Powell's Pandora's box. That's what took Bitcoin all the way up to 69,000. That's what took all the equities up to insanity. And the equities are still at insanity. The equities are still overpriced. I don't need to pull up the stocks to show you. You already know. And what we see here is that Bitcoin and crypto overall has gotten cleaned out, back down into here to basically take us into the November. And we were warning about that lunar eclipse in November. We had a funny feeling the vibes were not going to be good. And sure enough, we didn't know it was going to be Sam Bankman-Fried at the time. But we get that another massive liquidation event, November 8th, 2022. Predicted the date exactly. Didn't know it was going to be Sam Bankman fraud, but that was the sacrifice chosen in November. Back in May, it was your Luna. Back in May, it was Luna. Remember it like it was yesterday, and we've rallied up, and a lot of folks are getting excited because we've achieved this rally. And I'll tell you what, I think that Bitcoin has done fantastic. Congratulations, right? From rallying through the bank crisis and everything, it's held strong. You know how I stand on Bitcoin, though. Now, you know how I stand on XRP, and that's one of the most rigged charts that we can see in existence. I'll show you right now. Now, this chart is kind of jacked up and out of scale. I haven't pulled up this chart in a minute, but this is your XRP chart on a monthly basis. Lawsuit crash back here in 2020. The damages are absolutely massive. Despite that, we still break out and do participate in the most recent bull run, going up to $2, right? Barely getting to participate in the 2021 bull run, okay? And in 2020, basically we started to pump with the rest of the space, and that was April of 2021 that we reached back up to $2. Remember that like it was yesterday. Now here we are for XRP, and this thing's been hovering above 30 cents all since last year, back down to the 30-cent level. You see why I had last stand at 17 cents. Support at 30 obviously being a major support. And XRP breaking out here in July. We get that historical ruling from Judge Torres, go up to $1. Okay, but now we've cooled back off. Little pump for the proper party, which you can't even really see on this chart. Back up to 55 cents right there. That's that pump. Okay, and then we're back here at 50 cents, 51.60 at the time of this recording, nearly 8 p.m. on the West Coast for a Saturday night session as we wrap up September, as we avert a shutdown, and unfortunately, we don't get a settlement. Unfortunate. If you haven't already, guys, please share out this session. Share it out on the X platform. Share it out wherever you can. Get your family, friends, and loved ones tapped into this show. We're just 10 minutes in, and we're going to get it rocking and rolling through our current events, cryptocurrency, and greatest transfer of wealth in world history. God bless you all. Breaking. Senate votes to approve short-term funding bill to kick the can down the road to keep the United States government open until November 17th. This bill includes $16 billion in disaster funding and keeps the U.S. government open for 45 more days. The U.S. government is seeing a new crisis every month now. What's going to happen in 45 days? I think they're going to smack us. I think we got a crash coming. I think the equities are going to hit. It is not going to be pretty. Have your cash on the sidelines to buy the dip if you need to, and just stay protected right now. It's getting crazy. And talking about craziness, the DC dance, as always, the drama continues. Mainstream media finally has something to talk about. Camera footage of Democratic Congressman Jamal Bowman pulling the fire alarm before the House of Representatives vote. You can't make this scene up here that's taking place in DC, folks. It is going to distract the masses. Don't let it distract you. Did he pull it on accident? Did he pull it for real? Did he obstruct the vote? We have to have a much more serious conversation about what's taking place in DC on whether or not he pulled the fire alarm for real or for not. But that's terrible English, but you get my point. It's absolutely ridiculous what's taking place. And our president, Joe Biden, says that we cannot, under any circumstances, allow American support for Ukraine to be interrupted and discontinued after the Senate approved the bill for another 45 days with no government shutdown. President Joe Biden, we cannot allow the support for Ukraine to fall through. And as Rand Paul calls them, the forever war crowd will return. He says, when I said I'd do everything I could to stop the U.S. government from being held hostage to Ukraine, I meant it. We cannot continue to put the needs of other countries above our own. Amen. We cannot save Ukraine by dooming the U.S. economy. Absolutely, the U.S. economy is already dead. U.S. economy is already dead. I'm grateful to all members of Congress who stood with me, but the battle to fund our government isn't over yet. The forever war crowd will return. What's interesting about the forever war crowd is they're not from just one side of the aisle. They're both sides of the aisle, and they've completely sold out to the military-industrial complex. And speaking of the military war front, this is not good. British troops will be deployed to Ukraine. Hot war against Russia imminent, according to The Real Fly here on X. British troops, and it still is weird to me to call X. It still is Twitter to me. It still is tweets. It still is retweet. This whole X thing, that rebrand is still, I'm not accepting it. British troops will be deployed to Ukraine, though. And this is just being reported here. British troops will be deployed in Ukraine for the first time under new plans being discussed with military chiefs, the new defense secretary has disclosed. And we're already well aware that we have the private military contractors already on the ground from many NATO countries, you name it. And this is now finally being reported that, basically NATO troops are getting treated on the ground in Ukraine, getting caught up in the battle. In an interview with The Telegraph, Grant Shapps said that he had talks with army leaders about shifting an official British-led training program into Ukraine rather than relying on UK and other NATO members' bases. So instead of practicing or doing this training program in the United Kingdom or other NATO member bases, it's time to go, quote, into Ukraine. He also called on more British defense firms to set up factories in Ukraine, i.e., we don't have enough private military contractors in Ukraine. Please come on in. Following a trip to Kiev last week, Mr. Shapps also revealed that he had talked to Vladimir Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, about how Britain's Navy could play a role in defending commercial vessels from Russian attacks in the Black Sea. We need some warships too. Both moves could would mark a significant escalation in the UK's involvement in defending Ukraine against Vladimir Putin's onslaught. And you are hearing it in DC as well. Many folks, in DC crying that we're about to not have funding for Ukraine, right? Now, I didn't get to see, based off of reading Rand Paul's tweet, it sounds like we didn't approve any more funding for Ukraine. But that's not going to stop them from doing another deal here in 45 days. The show is going to continue. The unfortunate news is that it looks like NATO's going to keep on providing military aid here, trying to make a stand. Looks like it's falling short. Looks like the trouble is arriving and we need more reinforcements. But the problem back here in the West is that we're broke, not just in the United States. And so it's either austerity, it's either default, or we keep on turning on the money printer and printing away and destroying our value. So pick your poison, America. That's the situation at hand. And BlackRock's Larry Fink says that he sees more fear in the market than at any time in his entire professional career, which began in the early 1970s. I see more fear than any time in my business career, says BlackRock's Larry Fink. Now, I see the same thing. When I read through the comments, when I tune into a Twitter space, the overall vibe needed to be checked. Absolutely. And I do my part. I try to keep my presentation positive, even though we're covering the chaos, even though we're covering this nonsense, even though we're covering issues that get me very worked up and pissed off as an American who wants a future for my children. I do get a little worked up. But the beauty is that we have chaos in the streets, and that opens us up to more opportunities than we can take advantage of if we show up, if we put our big boy and big girl pants on and show up, if we don't get distracted, if we don't fall into the fear that Larry Fink is seeing and others. And these guys are salivating at the mouth. They're waiting at the opportunities that they're going to get to. They're licking their lips, excited to dive into this opportunity with us. And that's us too. That's us too. We just don't have trillions of assets under management like BlackRock Larry Fink. Not yet. We might have some trillionaires in the XRP community here before too long, though. Cheers, everyone. Now, this video is blowing up right here, and I wanted to show you guys this because the narrative is falling apart. They're trying to tell us that we're not in a recession, everything's fine, everything's good, Bidenomics is great. In this video right here is going viral, and apparently this gal is from British Columbia. Huge shout out to our friends up north. Absolutely love our family and our community members up north. So she's in BC, and she's going to talk about this. A woman on TikTok explains how she had more disposable income in 2012 making minimum wage versus making $100,000 today. And this notes the inflation, right, that they're trying to tell us is at 3%. And every American, every Canadian, most folks in the West are under the same circumstances and central banks having the same issues. The United States just happens to have the biggest military known to man, right? But in Canada, the people are feeling it. And there's so many viral videos that are coming out of Canada of folks explaining that they just can't afford. They're barely just getting by, right? And they've reached peak frustration. So let's listen in here on this clip, this gal here from BC describing how she had more disposable income in 2012 making minimum wage versus making $100,000 today.
The cost of living in 2023 is so bad that I'm pretty sure I actually was better off financially when I was making minimum wage in 2012 versus me making almost $100,000 today. In 2012, I lived with my roommate in a 2-bedroom apartment, and our rent was $700. So we paid $350 each. I paid maybe $150 a month for groceries. Our utilities were maybe $100 a month for everything. And my take-home pay, making minimum wage, was probably, I don't know, $1,300, $1,400 a month. After all of my expenses and necessities, I had so much money left over. I mean, not like a lot of money, but like several $100s left over. I was able to go out to eat multiple times per week. I mean, nothing fancy, but like I was still able to go out. I was able to like go shopping. I really liked buying makeup and clothes, and I was able to do that. Now in 2023, I pay $3,300 a month for rent in British Columbia. Obviously split in two, so I pay $1,650 of that. Utilities are at least $200 or $300 a month. I have a student loan payment, several $100s a month. I had to move outside the city, so now I have to have a car. I have, like, gas prices are ridiculous. Car insurance in British Columbia. It adds up. And obviously I am making a decent salary. I can afford it. But I really feel like I had a lot more disposable income in 2012 when I was making minimum wage.
You know, and I feel it too. I feel it and I understand it. I'm a millennial as well. She kind of looks like she's a millennial. And I laugh at the millennials. I laugh at my own generation. A lot of these kids have no chance because they're too busy trying to be woke. And that's why they're going to end up broke, because they're so worried about fitting in, being cool, political correctness, and getting their woke latte from Starbucks, and they wonder why they don't have any money left at the end of the day, and they only want to show up part-time. They don't want to show up 4 days a week. I do have sympathy, though, because I understand both spectrums. There's a lot of them who have no chance. Good luck, God bless. But there's a lot of folks that are trying, doing the right thing, working their butts off. And I look around at making a deal happen here, trying to, raise a family. It's a different ballgame. As I was saying in my real estate update this morning, it ain't Grand Poppy's real estate market anymore. It ain't Grand Poppy's white picket fence American dream anymore. And BC is insanity. BC's been taken over by too much money. Too much money's came in. The average person who grew up and was, has lived there for decades, multi-generations, it's done. It's done. It's a different reality. Now, is everybody getting wrecked? No. There's been plenty of wealth created up there. And this is why it's so important that we get tapped in on all the asset classes. Canadian real estate's gone crazy. Great. What else have you done? Right? It's just like someone who's made money off crypto. Excuse me. Great. You made $1 million off Dogecoin. What's next? Are you going to be the Dogecoin millionaire that goes from a few M in the bank account to $50,000? Are you what are we going to do right now as you see that Canada's property market has been so inflated, right? You might have came into some wealth. You might have something to work with. What do we do next? How do we fight this inflation? I'm going to tell you right now, there's a common message that I can share with everyone across this planet. You will not save your way through this crisis. You will not save your way through inflation. Is Grand Poppy's method of saving some money and saving a little bit more than us millennials probably good? Yeah, you bet. But we need to save to invest, and we can't invest in the traditional 60-40 portfolio that Wall Street's been shilling us for decades. We can't invest in the white picket fence American dream and build some generational wealth off one property or a couple properties. That's not going to happen. We will struggle to get by even working a 6-figure job. Could she cut out the woke latte from Starbucks? Could she cut out a lot of crap? Probably. Sure. But, I'm not here to tell people how to live, but go just try to raise a family. That's for me the pain point. If someone has to cut back on eating out on the month, okay, we got to eaten up. We got, and our grandparents, my great-grandparents lived through the Depression. And that's why they died with no debt, paid off house, right? They didn't owe anybody anything, and they built it from the ground up. Completely different ballgame, though. Completely different reality. Now, here we are in 2023, and your median, mortgage payment is going to be $2,800 a month for your median home, which is only $400,000, $440,000, which good luck getting a shack in my neck of the woods for that. And good luck getting a piece of land in British Columbia for that. That's why I say Canada's insanity. I love my Canadian friends, our brothers and sisters up north. God bless you. But what the heck? And the situation doesn't look like it's going to get any better here anytime soon. The problem, too, is that they don't have the 30-year fixed. And so that's why I think that you'll see a stronger correction, and specifically in the BC, lower BC, Vancouver area, and also in Toronto as well. You're going to see a big time correction. Big time correction. If they continue with the migration levels that they are at, though, the shortages could persist. That's the thing with the United States too. Depending on how many folks we bring in, or let in, I should say, depending on how you want to look at it. I'm not going to get into that issue here, but that is actually going to lead to continued supply shortages in real estate. So what is the situation looking like then? If we continue to have supply, crisis for real estate along with higher interest rates, it's the perfect storm. Absolute perfect storm. But I dropped a full real estate update this morning. If you guys want to check that out, you can. I'm going to keep it rolling now into the crypto update. Steven Narioff coming in once again, and he's responding here to Dr. Martin Hesbach from Uphold. People are excited about Ethereum, a decentralized blockchain, they say. Grew faster than any other tech. That isn't true. Ethereum isn't decentralized, it's owned and manipulated by a handful of individuals and companies, which together are a corporate entity by other name. The more layer 2 transactions and ZK proof they add, the more centralized it becomes. These are not the original ideals of crypto, but an aberration that will fail the test of time. How about that? From the head of research at Uphold. And this is why I love Uphold so much. I see you, Matt. Thank you for the 5 spot. Spread the word of God and XRP. Amen. Amen, brother Matt. Thank you. God bless you. Now, Steven Narioff responds, hypothetically, if one commits securities fraud, wouldn't an innovative legal strategy be to get SEC to say it wasn't a security? Maybe even invent a confusing legal basis like decentralization that nobody understands, including the agency itself. Crazy talk, I know. And we were called crazy. We were called lunatics. And now we got the whistleblower. God bless and protect him at all cost. Steven Narioff sounding the alarm and calling it like it is. And there is no basis. There is no definition of decentralization. There is no standard that we can be up against. And it is one big myth. It is one big joke. It is one big blemish on the cryptocurrencies. It's an embarrassment. That's what it is. I'm embarrassed by 90% of this space, to be honest with you. If I'm not dancing around the issues here, if I'm just cutting it straight to you, 90% of this space is an absolute joke. I.e., why I don't work with 90% of this space. 99% of this space I don't invest in or work with. It's embarrassing. And it's an absolute fraud. Even the narratives are fraud. Decentralization, it just got more centralized after the upgrade to ETH 2.0. It's an absolute joke and embarrassment, and the program's not going to work out. But these guys are corrupt as hell, and they did it anyways. This is how they all operate. This month, former U.S. Congressman Stephen Breyer was sentenced to 22 months in federal prison for insider trading. Breyer made more than $320,000 for himself, his relatives, and a woman whom he'd been having an affair with. So he made sure that he gave the stock tips to his second lover. These guys can't even stay faithful to their wives. Of course not. He will pay $354,000 in restitution and a $10,000 fine. And you line that up with Senator Menendez taking big fat gold bars for backroom deals. All these guys are corrupt. We've exposed it with the Ethereum free pass, and now we're about to get set free. It's a beautiful thing right here that we're watching right now. Right now, we're about to get set free in an absolute major way. I know that I wanted an announcement. I know that I want to settle up this lawsuit. I wanted to do it in September. I know that I was looking forward to a government shutdown and the bureaucracy beast having to take a break and maybe consider their bad behavior. You know, putting DC in timeout for a little bit, I think would have benefited us well. But the fact of the matter is, folks, is that we have the truth on our side. And it's time to celebrate. The XRP in and of itself has clarity. But now we pull up here on the day after the proper party, and it's time to get back to work. Now, for those of you that attended the proper party, you're probably a little hungover still. And so maybe you're not getting back to work today. That's fine. You turned up for us. And we wanted you to turn up for us. For those of us that couldn't make it to the proper party, we were there in spirit and we wanted you to turn up for us. So thank you. Appreciate that. But as I was saying, leading up to this is just going to be one celebration. This is just one battle that we won in the broader war that's underway. But it was a great reason to celebrate. I'm so glad that the community did. You have a fantastic picture right here from David Schwartz, Brad Garlinghouse. A little bit of party attire. Classy gentleman right there. Classy gentleman. And then we get this one from Rob Cunningham, and I thought this was a perfect summary. What's my early take on the proper party purpose? It was a global statement event, a huge Ripple spend, and Ripple threw down like big boys and girls that they are. Absolutely epic. There was actually their lead product design commented on how basically she came up with some of the designs of the party. Top notch as always. Everything they do is top notch class act. Nothing spared. No expense spared. A huge Ripple spend. A warning shot. A power move. A We have it all, and you bet we do. You bet we caught them all. And they're getting caught in the cover-up. You bet they are. Keep on singing, Stephen Narioff. God bless you. The map, the witness, the evidence, the truth couldn't be stopped. No, there was no chance. Most importantly, we have an army of advocates willing to put their money where their mouths and hearts are and travel from 30 nations with 30 days notice. That's showing up. That's putting on your big boy and big girl pants. Show up to the proper party. One of the most cool, surreal, memorable events in my life. Socrates once said, "Life is political." I agree. And he puts a little article right here. Ripple CEO immortalizes XRP with new tattoo. and Brad getting that too is a statement for sure. Does it confirm 589? It might. I don't know. It confirms something. And I haven't decoded the tattoo yet. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Thank you, Brad Garlinghouse. Your leadership drives culture inside of Ripple and all across the world. Culture is destiny. Respect, sir. Amen. God bless it, folks. I'm so glad to see that everyone turned up. Absolutely amazing. I wanted to share this one to conclude this before we get into the Q&A, and you guys can start dropping your questions and comments down below, and I will get to that. We're going to run up a session. I might have to go refill my wine glass, and we're going to sip an adult beverage, and we're going to have a little wealth Q&A if you guys want to get into it on a Saturday night. I'm here to spend some more time with you guys. Gold Telegraph, though, to conclude this episode. Gold in battle for control. A tug of war for the control over gold pricing is starting to play out. The countries of the Eastern world have been amassing physical gold for numerous years, while the majority of Western nations continue to only add to their debt pile. This is the same setup for XRP too, by the way. XRP is a reserve currency in the new financial system. Same thing as gold. Last year, Russia's finance ministry said it was critical to create the new Moscow world standard to normalize the functioning of the precious metals industry and have an alternative to the London-based metals exchange. This week, we saw a surge in gold prices in China, leading to a record premium over international prices exceeding $100 an ounce. As we've been saying, out east, Shanghai futures, and in China, you are seeing incredible premiums much higher than what's being traded in the West, much higher than what's the COMEX is giving us, much higher than is being traded on the London-based metals exchange. This contrasts significantly with the past decade's average premium of less than $6. From a $6 premium to exceeding $100 an ounce on your gold for a premium. That's where we're at right now, folks. As many readers know, China's state-run banks have played a proactive role by selling dollars to bolster the yuan in recent months. Furthermore, earlier this month, banks in China received instructions that companies needing to purchase 50 million or more would have to obtain approval from the central bank. Given the ongoing stockpiling of gold by the BRICS nations and gold serving as a strategic asset, just like XRP, a strategic weapon, a strategic asset, you better add some to the balance sheet if you want to do something to fix hundreds of billions of unrealized losses that these banks have. Given the ongoing stockpiling of gold by the BRICS nations and gold serving as a strategic asset, being a reliable store of value and a potential medium of exchange, whether in the form of a stablecoin or a common currency, it is logical that the Western world would prefer to witness a decrease in its price. Just look at this chart from Zero Hedge earlier this year and tell me the evidence is not staring you in the face concerning manipulation. Again, the East will eventually punch the West in the teeth with gold. How about that? The West is going to have put on a grill after we get our teeth punched out, and we better have some gold out here in the West. Let me tell you what. Let's take a look at this chart from Zero Hedge right here. Every time we get the metal pumping, we get a London fix, and that's what's taking place. Is the manipulations coming in? We get a London fix every time we spike up, and you're seeing it time and time again. London fix once again. And here most recently. And where are we at once again for gold, right? We're way back below way back below 1900. Let's take a look at our gold chart. Back down to 1848 right now. Been chopping sideways between 1600 and 2000. essentially going back to 2020 when we broke out. The breakout for gold starting back actually in 2018 we bounced. Wow, let me zoom out here on this chart. Gold monthly chart, way zoomed out. 2017. Trump comes in, gold bumps, gold runs 1300. Imagine that. Back down at $1,300 per ounce. That's incredible. Incredible. Here we are on gold on the monthly chart. I'll zoom back in on the most recent last couple years here, and you can see that gold's been trending between 2,000 per ounce. Most recently coming up here to a most recent all-time high, 2,080 essentially, trading at a much higher premium out east in China, Shanghai futures and others. Very hard to get the metal, as we had a 230 million ounce deficit in 2022, but they were still able to bring the price down in 2022 because they're doing massive shorts. And what we have right now is they're covering shorts once again. They're exiting short positions. If you go look at it on the trades right now, they're exiting short positions. One final shakeout here. And I don't know how much lower we're going to go. Support at 1,800 for gold coming in. Absolutely. Let me pull up silver right now for you as well. If you need to get precious metals, the links are down below. The links are at my website. I just wanted to show you this before we get into Q&A. Start dropping your questions down below and we'll get right on into it. Silver back down with a massive fat red candle here on the monthly chart once again. Back down to $22. Now, I remember last year in 2022, I was stacking the metal and I just went and I pulled up and I paid, I think, 27 or 28 bucks on the premium. And I forget when it was, but it was when we were back at about 25. I think I was paying $1.50 over spot. And that's when I started stacking back in 2022. Or this is 2020. Right into here. Yeah, March. Yeah, right up into here. So I paid 27, 28. The premiums were up. Premiums are up once again. But we're seeing a sell-off for silver, seeing a sell-off for gold, seeing XRP come back down, and I'm seeing that the broader crypto space can come back down. Let me know what questions, comments you guys got below. Let me check what you guys are working with. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I appreciate you. And by the way, if you're looking to get access to our Discord group, we just had another Discord weekly call this Saturday, and every Saturday we have an exclusive Discord weekly call where we can get intimate. We can talk about your deals. We can talk about what you're doing with your investments, what I'm doing with my investments, what deals I'm looking at. And together as a family, we're navigating through the chaos. You get access to that by signing up through Patreon. That's what gets you access to Discord. Right now, I'm going to be running a special through the end of this year where if you sign up for an annual membership, you'll be getting 13% off your membership dues. So if you're looking to get access, once again, it's at my website. Sign up through Patreon. That gets you access to Discord. 13% off when you sign up for an annual membership. I'm going to be running that till the end of this year. We're running this till the end of this year, and we just scheduled our next exclusive Discord meetup. If you're looking to meet in person, if you didn't get to go to the proper party, our community is an exclusive group of folks. We will be having an exclusive meetup coming up this winter. We have now set the date on our calendars. We've set the city. And I cannot wait, just cannot wait to meet our family once again. We've had a couple Discord meetups so far, much more to come. I will see you guys. I am going to be going to the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, by the way, along with XRP Vegas. And we'll probably be doing some other stops next year as well, too. I was just talking about it with Wifey today, and we already got quite a few trips. We're going to be coming to see you guys next year for sure. Next year for sure. We're going to be moving. What are we working with, folks? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, let's smash it for me. Party was amazing, but ultimately disappointing. No announcement. Yeah, a little bit disappointing for sure. Where is this in our group? I am never able to find them. His masterpiece. So just shoot me a message on Patreon if you're having trouble getting access to your Discord. You got to make sure you link them up. So just shoot me a message on Patreon. We'll get you through. So right now, XRP at 51 cents. Let's take a look here. So I'm a little bit zoomed out here, but I did come in a little bit to the 4-hour chart to zoom in and just look at kind of what we've been doing this month. This is what we did in the month of September. We bottomed out here at about, what was that, 45, basically 46 cents. That's right. We came back down here in September. Okay, that was September 11th. And then yesterday we get that proper party pump up to 55 cents. Now we've cooled back off to 51 cents. This thing's chopping sideways right now, right above 50 cents. We'll be watching this one closely. And right now, not in any incredibly bullish structure, but nonetheless, what we're seeing right now is these exchanges. I'm having a tough time trusting them. So that's why I'm not trading this market right now. You know, I wanted to get in last week when Bitcoin was above 27,000. 27,500 is where it went up to on Fed Powell decision day. And then we've since come back down. We did a pretty big liquidation back down to about 26,000. But Bitcoin back at 27,000. XRP here at 51 cents. That's what we're working with right now. Let's go rapid fire on the Q&A. Someone says, I'm going to move to America just so I can buy a 50 cal. I saw Elon Musk with his 50 cal. Yeah, I saw that video. Daryl, yes, you're correct. In September, it was announced that SBI was firing up corridors in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia, which we already had on-demand liquidity live in the Philippines, but we got the addition of Vietnam and Indonesia, our two new countries. We're well over 40 countries where on-demand liquidity is live. But last month, it was also announced that Ripple was going to rebrand on-demand liquidity, and RippleNet has now just become one term, and it's called Ripple Payments. And essentially what they're doing is they're just going to become the one-stop shop for liquidity for digital assets. A-Prod, appreciate the 5 spot, brother. Thank you so much. Not much because I am stacking XRP and gold. Appreciate that. I appreciate the support, appreciate the love, and I get it, man. It's been tough out there. I've been trying to encourage folks, whether it's starting that side hustle, whether it's expanding your business, whether it's figuring out how to get a raise at your job. We got to do more to make, to bring in more than what we've been doing, because the inflation is not going away, and we're not going to be able to save our way through this situation. Saving our way through this is not an option. The idea is to get enough that we can save to have liquid cash on the sidelines to then go buy investments, to go buy assets, that provide cash flow, to buy assets while they're cheaper so that we can sell them when they're higher. That's the idea, but the liquidity is drying up right now. For a year and a half now, well over a year and a half, I've been talking about this because we were on it last year when we said, folks, recession to-do list. The first thing on my recession to-do list was we got to make more money. We got to figure out our income. You got to understand, are you going to have a job through this recession, or is your company about to go bust? See, everybody wants to talk about, create your own business and become a millionaire and this and that. Well, the reality for most folks is you're working a job, and that's fine. How can we make more? And then the second question that we got to ask is, are we even going to have a job as we navigate through this recession? You might be forced to start your side hustle. You might be forced to turn your hobby into a business or a side hustle just to get by. Now, it's unfortunate if you're having to do it just to get by, and where you want to get to is a position of going on the offense. That's where you're going to make your best business decisions. Now, sometimes you need to get hit with life smacking you in the face, and that is the inspiration that some need to wake up, to get it together, to take that step, right? To say, oh, wow, my company just laid me off. I guess I better turn my side hustle into my main business. Oh, crap. If you're in the business world like I am, right now you're shoring up as many contracts as possible. Right now, just making sure that folks are going to pay up on what they already had committed to. Making sure that your contracts are solid. Making sure that as the situation gets tighter, as savings diminish, as discretionary spending diminishes, do you have a business that's essential? As we potentially, who knows what they have in store for us this fall, winter. God forbid we got another shutdown. We got another cold season coming up. Is your business essential? Not, whether or not we stay open or not, but also because if your business is dependent on discretionary spending, well, we're in tough times. The savings is dropping off, and folks are not as willing to just be willy-nilly with the cash as they once were. There's still plenty of liquidity in the system, i.e. why the stocks are still so overvalued. What we have now, though, is a dark winter before us, and the only thing that's going to be lighting us up this winter is going to be the streets on fire. I wish I was being extra. I wish I was being dramatic. I'm telling you that that's already what is happening. The only thing lighting us up this winter is going to be the streets on fire. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy that inflation is not going away. I'm not happy that folks are going to have to turn the key on their business, lose equity in their homes, and get their 401ks slashed another 10 to 20% this year. But the problem, as we reported this week, is nearly 50% of America has no idea what their 401k is even in. What's up with XRP being equivalent to 9 ounces of gold? The Doc 76, that's a good question. That's a viral video going around by Crypto Hulk. I retweeted and I said that Hulk always finds the craziest stuff, but I don't think that that's real. I don't think that that's anything that's significant. I don't have any validity behind that. I don't think that is gold. Is XRP equal to 9 ounces of gold? We can talk about that conversation. As far as that website and what the Hulk showed, I don't put any validity behind that, to be honest with you guys. As far as XRP being worth more than 1 ounce of gold, I do agree. I do agree that that's the future value of this thing potentially. I do agree. Now, what's incredible is that the price predictions for gold blow your socks off. Some of them, right? 15, 20. I mean, even just going up to 5,000, even just doubling, right, would be very significant. $5,000 for an ounce of gold. I think that the XRP utility is more valuable than gold. I think that you're going to see plenty of value stored in the XRP ledger, and it's going to be stored utilizing the XRP native currency. And then there's going to be a tremendous amount of business DeFi applications and value being moved on the ledger as well. So it's also a store of value as the best settlement liquidity system in the world. And it's going to have the deepest pools of liquidity using XRP as a bridge. And it could have some of the best DeFi utility being built out. When we look at the rest of the space, like I said, with Ethereum, it's a complete joke. With the tens of thousands of ERC20 tokens, and you go to use the Ethereum network and you're spending, $50 in gas fees to send a transaction. And now after ETH 2.0, it's gotten even more centralized. Justin, appreciate the 10 spot super chat. Justin, thank you so much. Hey, Zach, just curious why nobody is talking about Flare token anymore. Also, I've only received one airdrop from Coinbase. Anybody else have this problem that you know of? Justin, it's been a complete disappointment, to be honest. I wish I could sugarcoat it, but you know me, I actually don't sugarcoat stuff, and I'm not going to ever sugarcoat it. I don't even know why I would care to do that now that I think about it, because Flare and Hugo, one, he said some stupid stuff about XRP as of late, which is the most worst thing that he could have done after using the XRP community to launch his whole project, just like so many other people want to use the XRP community, as I continue to warn you guys about. They are coming for you. Okay? They want to shake you out. They want to get you out. They want you to trade your XRP for their poop token. They want you to trade your XRP for the NFT. There's a whole narrative ran in the community. The XRP, the only value that it has is, as transactions for cross borders, as for payments, that you shouldn't hold it as a store of value, that you shouldn't treat it as a reserve. But Flare's been an absolute disappointment. Now, am I remaining patient? Absolutely. It's been a disappointment so far, but I'm just being honest, Hugo. I'm just being honest, team. It's been a disappointment so far, but I understand you guys are building. I think that there is some very legitimate builders in the Flare ecosystem. I think that there's definitely some real players over there. 90% of it, though, let's take a second look at. You know what I'm saying? Flare could be massive. I'm still holding out. I was already tuned out of Flare because I had my XRP on Coinbase at the time of the snapshot. So I was already disappointed and already didn't care about it because I was, didn't even have the ability to stake my Flare or do anything with my Flare. Now I've received my Flare. The token price has tanked so much that essentially it's worthless. That's a disappointment. Am I holding out? Yeah. And I should probably do a Flare update. By the way, guys, speaking of projects on the XRP ledger that are kind of exciting, I am going to be dropping the interview with XRPayNet founder Christian. That's going to be tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you guys are looking for something to watch as you're having some breakfast, getting ready for Sunday football, I know a bunch of you guys like the Sunday football. So I scheduled the session to go live. The interview with XRPayNet's going to be going live at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow morning. You guys can check that one out. It was very interesting because Christian, when we got to talking about macro cryptocurrency, he's incredibly bullish. He thinks that Bitcoin's going to 225,000 by 2025. And I was like, okay, hold up. Now that you threw that out, I didn't ask him for a price prediction about Bitcoin. And he threw that out. And I was like, okay, that's where we're taking this conversation. Let's have some fun. Okay. Christian was, he's from across the pond over there in the UK. So it was 6 a.m. in the morning, my time. So I took another sip of my coffee and I said, okay, Christian, we can talk about that. He says $225,000 Bitcoin by 2025. And then you think XRP goes to about $9 to $11. He said he's not a 589er, he's not a Riddler, he's not on into any of that. But he's more of a $9 to $11 kind of guy, is what he said, to start. And he said he thinks that it could do that over the next 6 months or so. But then he says that a full realization of the next bull run into 2025, where Bitcoin goes to 225,000, he's calling for XRP to 25 to 30. And I said, okay, perfect. That's exactly what I needed, Christian. Now I can put that into the title. Now we can have some fun. Bitcoin to 225, XRP to 25 by 2025. That's a fun conversation. But we talked about XRPayNet, what they're up to. Interesting project. The only other content that I'd made about XRPayNet was earlier this year. And I got to go back and pull up this video because I'm curious to see when it was. But XRPayNet was pumping out of the blue. And the only video that I've ever made about XRPayNet was during that time. I was warning the community. I was like, guys, check your bags on XRPayNet. This thing's gone crazy. You might want to take some profits. I'm not here to give you financial advice, but we've been here before. This is nothing new for us with these XRP Ledger tokens that go absolutely nuts and then come back down. And that's what their token has done. And I asked Christian some questions about the tokenomics, about what's going on, and he's definitely a builder. He says that we're not so concerned with the daily token price or the movements, and they're just focused on building with basically becoming XRPayNet. They're working on just more retail end payments, and they're going to be coming out with a card here soon that you'll be able to spend any cryptocurrency you want, apparently, and it's going their program converts it into fiat currency of the retailer's choice. So when you go into the Nike store and you want to go buy some tennis shoes, for just a stupid example, we're going to go in there. You're going to be able to swipe your card. The system turns your Bitcoin into US dollars. And so the retail client doesn't even have to touch crypto. Now, this is kind of a really good idea. This is kind of slick, because not many retailers want to accept crypto yet, right? They don't want to accept Bitcoin. They don't want to accept XRP. But what if you had a mechanism where you can swipe your card and whatever crypto you have gets converted into their fiat currency of choice? That's a nice little use case. And so I had a great conversation with Christian. You guys can check that out. That's going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. XR Peaky Blinder says, one for you, one for the YouTube overlords. Just saying hi. XR Peaky Blinder, appreciate you, brother. Much love. Much love. they'd be taking a serious cut. You know, you think they're bad too. Even TikTok is way worse. I think TikTok's gotten a little bit better, but I know that on the TikTok gifts, they absolutely kill you on those too. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate all the support, whether it's the super chats, whether it's on the Patreon Discord community. I love all you guys so much, and the support's been incredible. And I try to provide as much value as I can to you guys here in the public platform for free. There's some things that I can only talk about in the private groups. And over there, we can get much more intimate. We can talk about the deals. I'm super excited. We're going to be going through due diligence. We're going to be dropping some fresh content for the business development program. And we're looking at a lot of stuff over there, a lot of new content. So I'm really excited for this fall, winter. The push that I'm about to make over the next year is going to be massive. We are just getting started, and I appreciate you guys for coming along with me in the journey, guys. It's been an absolute blessing. Thank you so much. The card you were just talking about would be amazing for travelers. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Bro, I just woke up for my morning shift. Passive, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, what time is it now? 8:37 on the West Coast. Approaching the 1 hour mark here on the YouTube live show, Saturday Night Live. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to go fill up. I'm going to go grab myself another glass of, what am I sipping on? Some Pinot Noir from 2019. Some pre-pandemic wine. I'm gonna go top off the glass here, folks. Let's take a quick break, and I'm gonna show you guys. You guys can check out the chart on XRP while I go refill. Thank you so much. God bless you all. All right, folks, thank you for hanging in there. We did top her off. Ready to keep it rolling. Appreciate you guys. Let me take your Q&A. Matt says tequila for me. So the folks that went to the proper party are probably drinking water tonight, drinking Gatorade, sipping some tea, recovering from the turn up. October hoping to ignite this market. Let's go. I think we might be lighting it up, but we might be lighting it up and sending it the wrong way, if you know what I mean. I'm worried. We actually could get a temporary push up, but I'm worried, another 45 days, this is going to be drug out. How do we see how much XRP the exchanges have left? On XRP Scan, I know you get a lot of the transactions over there. That's a good question. I got to go take a look at that actually, because we've been concerned about the exchanges running out of XRP. Now that we know Judge Torres ruled that programmatic sales to exchanges wouldn't be a security ruling, but then the SEC appealed that. So, many exchanges might be hesitant to do programmatic sales with Ripple because if Judge Torres grants the interlocutory appeal, that's allowed to go through. It's still going to be in lingo, right? If Judge Torres denies the interlocutory appeal, we could see sales to exchanges fire up once again right away. And how did the SEC say that the sales by the individuals Brad and Chris is an investment contract securities offering, but Jed McCaleb's not included in the lawsuit? How is that possible? The only thing I can think of is that Jed McCaleb was just selling to, market makers or whoever, other folks, direct sales, basically secondary market sales. He wasn't selling to any institutions. He didn't work at Ripple. And so they're saying, you were just doing a straight up transaction. You're good to go. And he basically he said it programmatically, through his bot, his taco stand wallet, which could dump up to 1% of the daily volume. That was the rule. And so that's why you would see, guys, even I forgot about this. We as a community forget that we lived through years of Jed McCaleb dumping hundreds of millions of dollars of XRP daily. Like, we forget about that. Jed dumped on us for real. Well, all the haters say that Brad and Ripple and Chris dump on us. No, the real guy dumping on us was Jed McCaleb to the tune of up to 1% of the daily volume on a daily basis. Hundreds of millions on a daily basis. He took a few days off here and there once in a while, but he absolutely dumped on us. What's your thoughts on Elephant going parabolic when the rest of the market is down, Zach? I don't know anything about Elephant. I don't know. Is that a coin? Should we buy more XRP or more XLM? I can't give you financial advice or tell you what to buy. For me, I have more XRP than I do XLM. I think you guys all know that very well. I haven't bought XLM in a minute. XLM, I got to do a deep dive on them again for you guys. Yeah, we're due for another XLM deep dive because Stellar's been up to quite a bit. They're kind of secretive. They're always in the shadows, but they're trying to keep up. My man, XR Peaky Blinder with another 5 spot. Free Peaky Blinder and red folder with every Discord join. Hey, where are my blue wrench buds tonight? Proper hungover. I love you, man. I love it. Another 5 spot. Appreciate you, brother. Hope to see you in the next Discord meetup. The in-person. We've already had a couple Discord meetups. This is going to be our 3rd. And like I said, we're already planning Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. That was in January this year. So I'm expecting it to be in January 2024 again. I don't know if they've already set the dates, but definitely going to be in Vancouver, and we will definitely be at XRP Vegas 24. And then we will definitely be having another Discord meetup to start off the new year. Gonna be lit. Gonna be lit. Yeah, Gamble Young. The agreement was that he could dump up to 1% of the daily volume. That's what the agreement was. And if anything's an investment contract, it was that deal. He was, selling with maybe they could make the case that he wasn't selling with an expectation of profit, even though he was gifted the tokens for free because he created the tokens. So it's an absolute... Where the hell is Jed McCaleb at? What is he doing? He's investing in Vast, his new space company. He's going to go to space. This interstellar project. And he got rid of all of his intergalactic XRP. I guess he's only going to go interstellar with his XLM. XLM can mint new tokens and that kind of sucks. I don't think that that's true, is it? I mean, maybe the validators would have to agree, and maybe all the validators just listen to Jed McCaleb, and XLM actually is pretty centralized. And so maybe they could, hypothetically. I've never heard that. I thought that the supply was fixed at the 50 billion. They did burn 50 billion, which had no effect on price. Didn't help it at all. Chainlink, yeah, so Chainlink just got the Swift deal. That was pretty good. Their CEO, he was at Cybos, hanging out with all the banksters. Yep, absolutely. Here's your XRP chart once again at 51.65. 51.65, back down from the 55 cent proper party pump. That is what we're working with tonight. XLM supply fixed. Yeah, that's what I thought. Would be cool to join one of those meetups. Yeah, absolutely, guys. We would love to have you guys join us in the Discord group. Reading through these comments here. You guys crack me up. Well, folks, we have until mid-November. President Biden has signed the short-term bipartisan spending bill to avert a government shutdown, setting the stage for another possible showdown in mid-November. So there you go. Man, XR Peaky Blinder, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Your grandma passed this morning. May she rest in peace, XR Peaky Blinder. And may God be with you and your family during this time, man. I know loss is never easy, so cheers, brother. We're with you tonight. We're with you together. Always, always. Something is going down on Monday, according to Fox News, about ETFs. Well, the next deadlines for the Bitcoin ETFs is mid-October. If we don't get it in mid-October, then our next real timelines come in January, and then after that, the final deadlines for about 7 out of the 8 that I saw is in March. So March is where we're looking at for the latest. Many folks think that they could just keep, delaying, and then eventually deny them. But I'm interested to see if they allow any of their buddies, to get one of their ETFs through. That's my expectation from SEC and Gary Gensler, to allow his buddies to get their ETF approved, but deny everybody else. Any talk on an XRP ETF? That's a great question. I think that one is going to be coming. We already have Arrington's XRP fund, and he funded that whole thing with XRP. He moved $50 million to fund, start up that fund. And he said he moved $50 million in 2 seconds for like 5 cents or something, just ridiculous. And so Arrington XRP, they're a hedge fund that's, big into XRP. But, someone like that, I could see trying to do an ETF, or, someone else I think will eventually end up doing an ETF for XRP. And it only makes sense because we now have clarity that XRP in and of itself is not a security. Now, if you do an ETF of it, that's definitely going to be a security, but you just go through the process of registering and issuing it, and then the SEC is going to deny or decline you, or, delay, and then deny you. But how can they do this forever, right? Eventually, they have to approve a Bitcoin ETF, a spot ETF. They've already approved a futures. Now we have an Ethereum, An Ethereum futures. And I think they're trying to do an Ethereum spot as well. It's only a matter of time before we get an XRP ETF, which just opens up the floodgates of liquidity that wants to get exposure to XRP. But, folks at, with their retirement accounts, they can't move that directly into the XRP token. So they're going to go buy the XRP ETF to get exposure to XRP through their retirement savings. What I would prefer? I would much rather prefer to have XRP. I'd much rather prefer to have custody over it. But when Grandma Sally goes to put the 401k into some crypto, because she finally listens to you, and you've been begging Grandma Sally to buy some XRP, but she doesn't listen to you. But once, Wall Street gets the go ahead from the SEC to launch a XRP ETF, then her financial advisor will come and say, Grandma Sally will say, okay, well, my financial advisor finally said that there's an offering here that I can put my 401k into. I don't trust you guys with your little crypto, but I'll take you up on this one. And we're talking about, guys, just trillions upon tens of trillions coming into this space over the next few years. I really think that the overall cryptocurrency market cap does 10 trillion this next bull run. I think we do about a 3x plus. We were at 3 trillion in last bull run, and I think we get another 3x from there easily. And if we don't get it this next bull run, that's fine, right? We're going to go do something incredible, but then eventually we do surpass 10 trillion for the overall market cap as we go into the next cycle after that. I mean, over the next 5 to 10 years, it's no doubt about how much money is coming into this space as a store of value, and then how much is going to come in for settlement as well. And that's where these tokens go to just astronomical prices as they start, the liquidity starts to build. And I'm so excited for this automated market maker for XRP. Look at Matt dropping a 10 spot. God bless XRP Blinders, Grandma. God bless her. Matt, that's love right there. XRP community showing up. That's what we do. That's what we do. Thanks for all you do, Zach. Check that coin I mentioned. Though I'm interested to see your thoughts on it. Good night, all. Have a good stream. Much love. And Peaky, stay strong, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, my friend. Can't believe this guy sets off the fire alarm as they're going to vote. You can't make this up, right? This Congressman Jamal Bowman, I can't believe what's taking place in DC right now. It's such an embarrassment. Such an embarrassment. Zach, what about the XRP automated market maker? Is that something that you will do? Yes, it is. And guys, keep on dropping your questions, comments down below. I'll spend a little bit more time with you guys here as we conclude this session here tonight. Finish sipping on our adult beverage. And, Yes, the AMM is definitely something that I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be doing my due diligence, and I'm going to try to put out a public due diligence checklist that anybody can use for evaluating these AMMs. So we're going to run through security, we're going to run through sustainability, where does the yield actually get generated from, how tight is the currency pair already. There's going to be a lot to consider. So I just want folks to understand what they're doing before we start to put our XRP or some of these other digital assets into the AMMs. I really want us to understand what we're doing, what we're investing in, how to do proper due diligence on an automated market maker, on DeFi protocols, because nobody wanted to listen to me when I said that, guys, I'm sorry. I know it's very exciting. I know it's a bull run. I know we all think that we're going to get rich, but Time Wonderland's 80,000% returns are not sustainable. Nobody wanted to hear that. Nobody wanted to hear all these other, I forget the names of all these other DeFis. Snowdog DAO. Just a bunch of crap. And they were all Ponzi schemes. Literally. Now, the SEC hasn't taken out many of them. Many of them were probably too small for the SEC to even go after. But a lot of them were really just pump and dump Ponzi schemes where the returns diminished the more and more people that came in. And that's another thing that you have to consider too. The more people that come in, that liquidity grows and the margin, that spread gets tighter. There's less money to be made. The more risk that you're willing to take, the more money you will be made. It's just like anything. This is not going to be an investment with, upside without risk. That doesn't exist. Not in any reality, not in XRP Ledger reality. So don't think that you're going to be able to just pull up to the automated market makers, throw your 5,000 XRP into the AMM, and make 10% on your XRP forever. Not going to happen. That's not how this is going to work. And maybe eventually we'll get some programs that are like that are pretty sustainable, but not at first. I guarantee you at first that is not how this is going to work out. Now, the thing that I'm going to be looking at, in like I always said, with all the DeFi that went crazy during the last bull run, I'm not interested in more than 20% return. That's not sustainable. And so even 10 to 20% is really too much and is probably not sustainable either. But I just discounted every DeFi protocol that was offering over 20%. I just said there's no way. And sure enough, they all went to zero. They're all done. The returns diminished. It started out at 80,000% returns for Time Wonderland, and then everybody went bust. And yeah, you were making your rewards. You were making more Time Wonderland coin, but the price of Time Wonderland was falling off a cliff in real time. And so congratulations, you have a worthless token and your portfolio has now been destroyed. The real value that you held has been destroyed in a Ponzi scheme that was done in a decentralized way. Congratulations, you lost money in a decentralized way. That was DeFi in a nutshell, is you lost money in a decentralized way. Do you think I was Mr. Popular during the bull run for saying that? No. And do you think that my DMs were full every single day of folks that were, one, mad at me for calling that crap out, and two, projects trying to offer me little bitty checks to push their crap, which I never did. I turned down every single one. And if they sent me a DM, I knew to investigate their project, to stay far away from it, and to during that time, we called them all out. Are they really going to let us revalue currency and buy XRP? Reckoning, what was that question? What was that question again? Are they really going to let us RV currency, revalue currency, and buy XRP? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, it's happening in real time through inflation. Our currency is getting revalued every single day. That's what folks don't get. We talk about revaluation and folks only think about complete reset. System goes down, we reset, we got a new dollar, all this and that, right? Instead of focusing on right now, we're getting a revaluation every single day. It's just in the wrong way. It's in inflation. The revaluation's underway right now. The beautiful thing is that we're invested in the assets that could potentially back the new system. We're invested in the commodities that run the world. We're invested in real businesses with real utility that will continue to provide cash flow and allow us to have a standard of living that's acceptable through this chaos, through this recession. That's what we've invested in. The revaluation is already underway. It's not some timeline. It's not some way out thing. It's not that we have to see all this and that occur. It's happening in real time. And I think that we're about to enter one final shakeout for the precious metals, for cryptocurrencies, and be prepared. You're seeing it right now. Gold and silver just got killed. And for cryptocurrency moves, what gold and silver did is nothing. It was down like 1% in a day, and all the precious metals guys that I follow are talking about the gold bloodbath. I'm like, we didn't even go down a full 1%. And we call that a bloodbath? What? Relatively speaking, though, it's a much different market. It's much more mature. And so that's, it does fit. It does fit. We got smacked in gold and silver. Back down to 22. But what did I do? I pulled back up to my dealer and I said, thank you very much. Take my fiat funny money. And this is what I'm saving. I'm saving silver and I'm saving cash to buy investments, to buy assets. Assets are going on sale. Let's buy as many as we can. Let's buy as many as we can manage. Let's make sure that we got the team in place and the infrastructure in place that we can survive this storm. Debt clock silver at $1,200 an ounce. That's the thing about the debt clock, guys, is I don't get too worked up over the debt clock. It's, yeah. I tell you what, every dang day we see another glitch. Whether it's XRP, whether it's the debt clock, systems are going down here, systems are going down there. What's the fair market value? I think we're a long ways from discovering fair market value on some of these assets. XRP, gold, silver included. The unfortunate part is that we're a long way from discovering fair market value on real estate. That's going to take out a lot of people, and on discovering fair market value for the equities. Today's price doesn't represent real value. It represents a period in time that had the cheapest interest rates in 5,000 years and the most amount of money injection into the system that we've ever experienced in our history. And that's why we're at the overvalued levels that we're at right now. It's clear as day. It's not fundamentals. It's not a solid business. What NVIDIA got rated in one office, who knows if it expands to more? I don't need them to get rated once again to tell you that that stock's overvalued. I don't know what NVIDIA has done recently. They are testing the systems. There is no such thing as a glitch. These are man-made systems, and they perform, they operate off of the functions that you set them and program them to run off of. There are no such thing as glitches. Dinesh D'Souza said that in regards to something that I won't talk about. It's unfortunate that I can't talk about that on the public platform, but I'm not going to talk about it. But you know what I'm talking about, that took place in 2020. There are no such thing as glitches. These systems were created by man to perform and operate as set and programmed. There are no glitches. Same thing with all these currency glitches that we've seen. When SBI's already gone live. SBI's continuing to build. SBI's doing a lot. XRP Blinder talking about buying eggs from the local farmer. That's what it's all about. One of my most recent investments that I just made was some good organic grass-fed beef from a local farmer. You bet. You bet. I hope I hope that the World Economic Forum's not too mad at me for that. Uh-oh. I probably should have asked permission to buy all that red meat. Probably should ask permission. Maybe I should sell my diesel truck and get a bike or something to make up for the red meat that I just loaded up on. I better stop before I get in trouble. I was hoping that the government would shut down and never come back. Johnny Ripple, 100%. 100%. Crypto Roger says, I have over 200 pounds of silver rounds. That's significant. That's a bag. You know, I'd be careful though, you know, just like with our crypto, on who we tell how much silver and gold and how much essentials we've been prepping, you know, and how much XRP we got. We got to be careful these days. I stack it all, man. I stack some firewood out here. I got it for free from somebody, and I wanted something to do on a Sunday afternoon, so I drank a nice cold adult beverage, and I split some firewood with my little one next to me, just for the hell of it, you know? And what the heck? It's all value. It's all real commodities. And, you know, folks laugh about that. That's a joke. Until you realize that everything that we're buying at the store, everything that we've invested in is all a fraud. It's all a Ponzi scheme. It's all their game. Where does the rubber meet the road? Where does the real value come in at? Does real value come in at Costco these days when you go pay $18-20 for, you know, one, you know, per pound for your steak? Costco actually has some decent quality, and I love Costco. And now they're selling gold too. So that's good. And they're selling out of the gold quickly, by the way. They're selling it at a pretty big premium. We can get it to you cheaper. If you're looking to get gold, precious metals, we can get it to you cheaper than Costco can. So just hit our links down below and get in touch with our people. We'll get you hooked up cheaper than Costco. But huge shout out to Costco for putting some gold on the shelves. I do appreciate that. But they're selling out quick, even at their premiums. Matt59, thank you for the 2 spot again, brother. Bought 5 dozen eggs for $7.49 in Seattle. Crazy. You bought 5 dozen eggs for $7.49 per dozen? Or for the whole deal? For 5 dozen. Egg prices are down. I'm going to have to pull up the egg chart. Where are eggs at right now? But the problem is, guys, is that even when you go buy from the stores, the quality's crap. They're doing all sorts of crap with the food. So even when you go and you're spending $20 per pound for your steak, you're not even getting good meat. You ain't got 1/4 inch thick fat on the side of that thing. You know what I'm saying? I want 1/4 inch thickness fat on the side of that steak. And it ain't there. And the quality ain't there. And the problem is, it's not even achievable. How the heck do you take the family out to the steakhouse when you're paying $50 a plate these days? And I'm not talking at the fancy steakhouse either. I'm not talking about anything special. I'm talking about just the regular deal. How do you even feed the family at home with steak? You know, $20 for a ribeye, 12 ouncer, $25. What are we doing? And that's why I said you cannot save your way through this inflation crisis. You might have to cut back on how much we're having on the steaks. I know I have. The good thing is now I fast for the first half the day essentially. That's what I do. So, you know, I've been eating. I don't know if I've been eating less. I think I have been eating less, but this is not a choice for a lot of people. That's the problem. Zach, do you invest in dividend-paying stocks at all? Johnny, I will be. I'm just now starting to build my stock portfolio. I'm exclusively only looking at private placement deals in companies that haven't gone public yet. But I'm just now starting to build out my portfolio, and I definitely will be looking at dividend paying stocks for sure. Right now, I don't invest in any companies that are public already. I only look at private placements, and right now I'm just now building that portfolio out. Something that I think is an all right investment. I think that there are some other ones too, but when you got to diversify into some other things, it does get interesting, especially looking at private placements before the companies go public and really blow up. The problem is that they've made it so hard for the non-accredited investor to be able to invest in private companies. And so that's the roadblock that the SEC and the rules of the road have kind of set in our way. And that's why the middle class and poor don't get access to the best deals. You get your pension, you get your company hired Morgan Stanley, your company hired, some financial firm to be your money managers. You don't even know where your 401k's at, and you've been put into the 60-40 portfolio that had its third worst year ever last year. 40% of the portfolio making up bonds, which had its worst year in history last year. Set to have another terrible year this year as well. That's not a very good program. But when you can take control of the investments and you can get in before companies go public, that's a massive opportunity. You have to know what you're doing, and you have to understand what you're doing within the bounds of the law. That's the problem. A lot of folks going to get caught up and going to get caught slipping when they go to invest in private companies and in private placement deals if you don't know what you're doing. There's incredible risk. Much more risk than buying the publicly traded company on the stock market that's going to give you a much less return. You're not going to have as much risk, but the reward's not going to be as great. And for all the public stock market that I see right now, a lot of it's overvalued. A lot of the private companies are overvalued too. A lot of the private value, it's across the board, valuations are crazy. They're overvalued. Whether you're looking at public opportunities or whether you're going for private placement, private equity. Is Ripple having an IPO? Ripple is going to be IPOing eventually. Brad Garlinghouse says they probably won't be the first, but they won't be the last. And I suspect that they're going to announce IPO after the SEC lawsuit concludes, which I do think will be in the next year. And I do think that it concludes in a settlement before the case goes to trial. And I might have to bet Daniel another bet on settlement taking place on peer-to-peer bets, because I'm going to have to give Daniel 100 XRP because it looks like we're not going to get a settlement up here today. So I did lose 100 XRP to Daniel, but I may have to bet him that 100% of settlement's going to take place, because I do believe that there's no way that they allow this case to go to trial. After the case is over, they will be IPOing, and it's going to be massive. See, this is reality right here. It costs like $30 for me and my son to go through Sonic or Culver's. It's crazy. That's the thing, Matt, is even if you go out to the fast food, once again, you're eating fast food, which is, crap. But, it's, can be basically the same price or cheaper than eating at home now, right? And then when you consider the time that it takes to cook, I understand why a lot of people do it. In fact, I've done it. I've been there. I've done all that, Thank God I got a tremendous wifey who helps make, fantastic meals. And every once in a while I hop on the grill. I like to cook breakfast, but shout out to wifey. Shout out to wifey. And if it wasn't for her, I know a lot of guys that just eat, meal prep. I struggle to eat the same, like chicken and rice for 3 days in a row. I could never do that. I've tried doing stuff like that, but chicken and rice 3-4 days in a row, I can't do that. That's not going to work. I'd rather eat top ramen, I'll mix it up with a little. I ate top ramen last week. I still eat top ramen today, just to remind myself it's still a bear market, still a recession. Eat your top ramen and get back to work. So I ate some top ramen last week. Do I think that the stock market will go to digital assets instead of IPOs? I do think that the stocks will be tokenized. They already are basically split up through the shares. It's basically the same thing. It's just you're tracked in their distributed ledger that's not an open public source distributed ledger. So I mean, for all intents and purposes, you already are splitting up companies and tokenizing them, just doing it through shares. But I think that we move to blockchain real-time settlement 24/7, 365 systems. Maybe there's a reason why the markets would only be open 5 days a week, and still be off on holidays, but I don't see why that would be necessary going forward. And even regardless, you're still going to have the futures trading 24/7 and stuff. So, yeah, I think that we do go to the whole system running on DLT technology. PB&J's, yeah, classic. I used to eat peanut butter and jelly all the time. I don't like bread anymore. I don't do sweets anymore. I'm an old man now, so I drink coffee all day. I like to eat meat and full meals and no sweets. Don't care for anything sugary. I don't even like, maybe once in a while I'll have some ice cream with wifey. Other than that, I don't do anything sweet. I just go, coffee to dinner and maybe an adult beverage. Try to take a day off or two every once in a while from the adult beverages. Zach, consider linking up with Uncle Alan Staple again. Been sharing some interesting insight and thought lately. Alan, man, I love that guy. I love Alan so much. Definitely would love to connect with Alan once again. That would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? Maybe I'll do a meetup with Alan in California. I know he's down there. And I know we've been talking about doing a Discord meetup in California too. So we might be taking a look at that. Grilled cheese all day. Love it. Cheers, everyone. Thank you for coming in tonight. For me, I think that I wanted to come out and hang out with you guys on the live session just because I'm having FOMO from the proper party. So here we are, Saturday Night Live, 9:19 on the West Coast. It's past midnight on the East Coast. You guys are some real ones for hanging out with me in the middle of the night. Now, if you guys are across the pond, if you're somewhere, let me know where you guys are at in the chat. Do we have any folks that are outside the United States? It's sometime in the morning your time. Maybe we got some Australians in the chat. What time is it on Australia right now? Any Aussies in the chat? Right? Tacos are good. Do a Discord meetup in Texas. Yeah, John, so we just did a Discord meetup in Texas actually just a couple months ago. Actually, it's been a few months now, hasn't it? It's been a while. Yeah, we did a Discord meetup in Dallas here recently. Yep. Dallas was a fun city. It was good down in Dallas. Now, it was way too hot for me. I melted down in Dallas. Are you aware if the digital stock assets are being offered now? I know that there's been some piloting, there's been some tests for sure. I don't know if anything's gone live yet. Basically, you got companies that are basically tokenizing themselves through shares in their token, i.e. creating securities. That's happening. But as far as any tokenized digital stocks already, not in any sort of major way. We got South Wales in the house. Shoreline, Washington. Shout out to the Pacific Northwest, Canada. In Ontario, it's noon, lunchtime here in the Philippines. Look at that. Selling Gator Gaming. That's awesome. I love you guys so much out there. Philippines. We had Korea in the house yesterday. They kept on dropping super chats out of Korea. It's like 2,000 Korea coins. I don't know what their currency is called. Huge shout out. We got folks across this planet now. 520 in New Zealand. We got Australia in here. Brian says, I'm going to join the Patreon too with my extra cash. Got to get tapped in on real estate. Brian, that's how I look at it too. It's an investment in your education, and it's an investment in building your relationships. We got folks that are just so diverse, the experience, the knowledge, the expertise. You got access to me too. I guess that's worth something. And it's an absolute party over there. And we got a lot more exclusive content in the works. The plans that I have for exclusive content over there is massive. Are we going to discuss the government shutdown stuff? Well, Scottish Tart, yes, we did. We did about an hour ago. We've been live for an hour and 40 minutes, and we did discuss the government shutdown. It did not happen. We didn't get a settlement either in the XRP lawsuit, so we're sad about that. But we remain hopeful, and we understand that the good guys and gals have the truth on their side. North Dakota in the house. Got Nevada. Johnny's in Nevada. We got Ron out in Hawaii. Yeah, Hawaii's behind us here on the West Coast. XR Peaky Blinder says, midnight 30 in Detroit. I'm lights out. Don't wanna, but gotta. Good night. Folks, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. I'm going to wrap up this session. Like I said, if you guys want to tune in tomorrow morning, we got the interview with XR Paynet dropping at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I want to make sure that everybody can wake up for that one. It's a good conversation, and a huge shout out to Christian for coming on the show. So that's going to be airing tomorrow morning. We just dropped the Discord call this morning too. If you're looking to get tapped in over there, just go to my website. You sign up through Patreon to get access to your Discord group, and we would love to have you over there. We just dropped the next date and city for our next Discord meetup. Can't wait to see everyone in person once again. And it's been an absolute pleasure here on a Saturday Night Live, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. On the way out, if you haven't already, can we please smash that thumbs up for me? And if you're new here, we do this every day, not necessarily going live, but I'm dropping content every day, at least a couple videos. And we're pushing hard right now. Even though it's a bear market recession, a lot of folks going off into hiding. A lot of guys are nowhere to be seen. We're only doubling down on what we're building and where we're going, and I'm so excited to have you guys with me. So thank you for stopping by here tonight on a Saturday night. I will see you guys tomorrow, and I hope that you've been having a blessed weekend. God bless you all.